Hello everyone, it's me, Voodoo, and I'm back today with another one in the 5 tips series for Havoc Demon Hunter. So today we're going to be going over 5 tips for you as to why you're losing DPS on your Havoc Demon Hunter in both Raids and Mythic Plus. So we have 5 tips for you today, going over things on Havoc Demon Hunter that you might not be doing that you're losing out on DPS for. And before we get into that, of course, if you enjoy the video, hit the subscribe button, but also scroll down and hit the like button. If you like my content, hitting the like button is a very big way of supporting me, helps tickle the algorithm, make it spread the video to more people, and it really helps me out. Honestly, for any content creator you watch or like, hitting the like button is the best way to see them succeed. So if you want to see me do well, hit that like button. Anyway, so we're going to go in today. The first tip I want to do is the new opener with delaying the hunt. So you're probably wondering, what do you mean delaying the hunt? Don't we want to use that on pull to get the most of it? And you're sort of right, but the new opener has us using it towards the end of our little Essence Break meta combo. And the reason for this is actually because of our tier set. So if we open up the tier set, we look at it, we can see that the the 2-piece says every 175 Fury you spend, you gain Seething Fury, increasing your agility by 10% for 6 seconds. And basically, we end up delaying the hunt till after our Essence Break combo, so that we get the hunt during one of these windows with the 10% agility. So what does that look like? So we'll go into it here. Now I've moved my little weak aura that tracks what buttons I push up to the middle of the screen so you guys can follow along. So I'll Fel Rush here. So you'll see right there what buttons I'm using, a little bit of image, but I'll talk it along too. Also, I don't have a bomb, but you know, wherever I use beacons, basically where you use bomb. So we'll go into it here. We'll start off with our Sigil of Flame pre-pull, like always. Throw that down there, then we'll Immolation Aura as it pops off. We'll use Anvil Strike, Fel Rush in, use my Anshul. I have a Fellhound, so I'm going to glaive it down. Then we'll go into an I-Beam, Annihilation, Backflip, Essence Break, Death Sweep, Meta, Death Sweep, and here we're going to Annihilation twice, and then use the Hunt. And you can see here we have the little Seething Fury buff, and then after that, obviously, we just use I-Beam and then Annihilation again. But we did that to get the Seething Fury buff onto our Hunt. And what that does is it gives you the 10% increased agility onto your Hunt dot, and ends up having it hit for a lot more damage than otherwise. If we did it on pull, yeah, we'd have the initiative buff, but with things like Bomb, with things like Beacon to Beyond, you end up wanting to get that in your initiative window first anyways, and then use the agility later on, which is buffed, which does buff the Hunt, for increasing that damage there. So by doing this, you will end up seeing a small increase in your DPS. Obviously, it's not that big of a deal, but this is one thing that definitely has changed since last year that you do want to be doing to just get that little bit extra bump of your DPS. You can see your Sims are doing it as well. So remember, you're going to want to delay the Hunt until after the opener. So you do your second Death Sweep, you Annihilation twice, then use the Hunt, then use your I-Beam, then use your last Annihilation. So that is going to be the brand new opener for Havoc Demon Hunter. So the next tip is going to be another raid tip. And honestly, this one, I see a lot of people forgetting about. Often you see a lot of people asking questions, being, oh, why is my DPS low? And this is one of those big reasons. And the fact is, see these 3 buttons here? Fellblade, Immolation Aura, and Sigil of Flame. You almost never want to push those, absolutely ever. So most of the Fury you'll get is going to be from like your opener here or your I-Beam. So if I just go in, do my little opener here, come in. So from this point here, I'm going to have most of the I-Beam that I'm going to actually need for the rest of just like the fight here, like in general. Hunt in, I-Beam. So from this point onwards, I'm basically not going to use any of my buttons. All of the Fury I'm using is going to come from Fel Rush and picking up souls on the ground. The only time I ever use these buttons is when I absolutely run out of buttons to push. So if I have nothing to push, no Fel Rush, no souls to pick up, no Annihilation to push, then I'll go ahead and use Immolation Aura. And that's basically the only time. You don't actually want to use it to buff up like Unbound Chaos and stuff. It's not actually worth it. It's just better to get your Fury passively through your auto attacks, through your Annihilation backflips and stuff, through your Soul Sigil picking ups. So yeah, it's actually not worth it to use these buttons. So you're basically just going to be using Fel Rush almost on cooldown to maintain your Fury generation, to maintain your momentum, and that will end up being the best for you. So you don't want to use your Immolation Aura, your Fellblade, or your Sigil of Flame you're only using that as the very last resort. Otherwise, don't push them. It's going to be a DPS loss. It's better to just throw out as many Chaos Strikes as physically possible to increase demonic uptime and reduce the cooldown of your I-Beam. So Remember that. Only basically fell rushing for Fury, only using the other 3 buttons if you have literally nothing else to push or if you're out of range. Alright, so I have one more tip for you guys for Raid, and then we'll go back to some Mythic Plus stuff. And the one for Raid is going to be double death sweeps in every single one of your IB windows. If you do not get double death sweeps, you are wasting your IB windows. Now, this is one of those ones that's a pretty simple thing, and shouldn't be too hard to hit, but I do see it happen often in lots of vlogs, lots of people, even sometimes myself. I mess this up. You gotta be getting double death sweeps in every single IB window. This is true in both single target and AoE, or else your IB window will not be very good. So what does that mean exactly? So we'll go up to this target because it's a little bit bigger. I'm not gonna use meta here. We'll pretend I don't have meta, but we will have both a normal Essence Break window and a non-Essence Break IB window. Again, playing with this Restless Hunter build here. So we'll come up into it. And we'll hit the I-beam here. So with Essence Break, normally it's going to be a little difficult to get both of them. You want to make sure you basically use Death Sweep as fast as possible in your Annihilation window here, in your Demonic window. So see there, basically what I have to do is just spam Chaos Strike in order to get it. Now if we build up the next one, it's not going to be very hard. But essentially to hit this double Death Sweep in every single window, you basically need to have Death Sweep be one of your very first buttons. So here I'm going to backflip first, then I-beam. And we're going to Death Sweep immediately and basically just spam as many Chaos Strikes as we possibly can to extend our meta duration and get a second Death Sweep. See there? I did it pretty easy. You can get 3 with a ton of haste, but that's not really feasible. With Essence Break, it is a little bit harder. What you're going to want to do is basically have full Fury, or as close to full as you can going into it. Now, the natural gain from I-beam will help with that. And here we're going to wait till Death Sweep comes close to or off cooldown. We'll go into it again, turn around, Essence Break, and basically just Death Sweep as soon as physically possible, and then just spam Chaos Strike. Oftentimes, to get this one, you have to sometimes even drop momentum. Now there, I could keep it up. I had enough haste and enough procs and stuff. But that is going to be a very important tip. If you go through there and you let your meta drop before you get your second Death Sweep cast in every single one, your damage will go way lower. If you look at Death Sweep and we look at Blade Dance, the damage here, the difference is a lot bigger. You can see here, like crit 7,500, crit here 8,900. So it's a pretty big difference. Obviously, you know, this ones are buffed by Essence Break and stuff like that. But even then, using Death Sweep is going to be a lot more damage than using Blade Dance. So you want to make sure in every single I-beam window, you're getting 2 Death Sweeps, or else you're quote unquote wasting the window. So the next tip we're going to talk about is going to be for Mythic Plus, or if you're one of those raid gamers for Assault of the Sakali, because we're talking about Spread Eagle. Again, named so because of this little triangle here. Specifically in Spread Eagle, we're going to talk about one little kind of tip in this little area over here. It's going to be about Burning Wound. So often, people with Burning Wound, they just kind of don't remember to tab target. Now, this was a thing back in the day whenever we had the old Legendary on the cloak. You had to tab target your auto attack, so you'd spread your Burning Wound around, like I'm doing right now. You can see I'm sprinting around, and now we have it on 3 targets. Now, that is one thing you got to remember to do. That's just a little tip there. Always remember to tab target your auto attacks. However, the other thing is, like, yes, you can use your glaive, but you shouldn't do it while you're in rotation. But when you can use it is when you go into combat. So let's say I'm just approaching this pack here with my tank. I'd throw my sigil, throw the glaive as we hit it, immolation aura, use the glaive there, boom, boom, and then just go into my little rotation here. So it's okay to use your glaive as you kind of approach the target. However, it's important to remember after that you should be tab targeting. You don't want to end up throwing a glaive while you're in combat unless there's literally nothing else to push. So you see here, I'm kind of using all my abilities. Like, I didn't hunt by accident, whoops. But like even then, I still have so many buttons to do. Okay, here I'm gonna Fury. I'll throw a glaive out maybe. But you don't really want to be using it to spread your Burning Wound around like you can be with the other build. So it's important to remember to tab target, or as you go in on a pack, to throw out your glaive there quickly. It is a very minor loss to do so on pull. It's like less than 1%, like 0.1% or something, which isn't that big of a deal, and I would honestly recommend doing that, especially if you hate tab targeting. But while you're in combat, I would not recommend doing that at all. Just tab target, just remember, and just keep your Burning Wounds up on the enemy. All right, so for the last tip, I want to talk a little bit generally about one little talent in particular, Initiative, and I guess a bit Know Your Enemy. So Initiative is very, very interesting, but there are definitely situations where you're probably ending up getting a damage loss from it. So what do I mean by that? So Initiative reads, damaging an enemy before they damage you increases your critical strike chance by 12% for 5 seconds. Using Vengeful Retreat refreshes your potential to activate this effect on any enemies you are in combat with. Effectively, what this does is every time we hit something before they damage us, we get a crit bonus. Every time we use Vengeful Retreat, we're able to get that crit bonus again. This is the reason why we use Vengeful Retreat into Essence Break for our combo window. However, this talent also has interesting effects with our trinkets, especially because of Know Your Enemy. So Know Your Enemy is a passive, you probably know it by now. It is one of our strongest talents. Gain critical strike damage equal to 80% of your critical strike chance. So if you look here, currently I have 45% crit unbuffed. Normally I can get up to like 60-some% crit, 50% crit with buffs. And then with initiative, that's an extra 12%. So I have roughly 72%, let's say, crit. And then if I do 80% of that, it means that my crits do 57.6% extra damage. Now that is a lot of damage. That means crits are doing roughly 250-some%, 260% damage. So if you can end up critting inside of your initiative windows, you end up doing a lot of damage. And that's actually pretty useful for things like Bomb, which again, I don't have, but also Beacon to the Beyond, which I do have. So if I go in and I start off this thing here, we'll just say I'm in combat with them, we'll put Sigil down, and then I'll just cast Anshul. You can see if they crits, it ends up doing a ton of damage. So you can see here, I only got 2 crits, but those crits hit for 420 nice damage versus the 171 the normal hit did. So that crit ended up critting for way more than double. Double of the normal hit would end up being like, let me just divide by 2, be like 342, but instead we hit 420. So crits end up doing a lot of damage, and that's why trinkets and things like Launch Thorns, which can also crit and also ends up impacting stuff like Know Your Enemy and Initiative are strong for us, are really, really good. Now the other thing is the interaction with Initiative and Vengeful Retreat. So basically what happens here, there's tons of fights where you might end up noticing that you're not actually getting the initiative proc off of your Vengeful Retreat. And the reason for that is because of pulsing damage. Now, it's kind of hard to show this here. I might be able to do it with Boulder Fist with him mailing me, but I could die doing that. But basically what's happening, if there's ticking damage like on Taros or Raz from last tier, or like Magmarax this tier, even Rashok towards the end, it's going to be very common for you to end up missing your initiative proc because the dot will tick before you actually end up hitting them. So there's a few ways around that. So one way is to have Immolation Aura rolling before you end up going into that thing there. You can see there it refreshes without me having to push anything. Now the other way is going to end up being a using an ability basically as soon as you VR. So the thing with that, I can't show right now, it's at 7 seconds, but things like Fell Rush and Vengeful Retreat end up not triggering a full GCD. They lock out each other, but they don't lock out other movement abilities. So if I have Vengeful Retreat here, we're going to target this dummy. I can end up using a button almost immediately. And you can see there, I Chaos Strike as I flew through the air, and end up getting my initiative proc very quickly. And that's basically what you want to do in certain raid scenarios with stuff like Essence Break, or if you can't like aim your Essence Break properly, just push an ability mid-air. And in those scenarios, it will increase your chance to get that initiative buff against those targets. Now, it's not always going to work. You will sometimes miss it, but it's very important you're getting this buff as often as you can. So it's good practice to use an ability as you're flying through the air, basically as quick as possible. See here, I did that basically as fast as I could. Got my crit buff. Obviously, I only hit one target, but dummies are weird to aim on. But it's very important to get this initiative when you possibly can do it. Now, last little tip about this is going to be about fodder. Fodder is very weird. You might not always get it off of fodder because fodder goes immune as it evades as it spawns. But fodder will also give you initiative if you have like Immolation Aura ticking, or you're doing like AoE as they spawn. You can end up getting that bonus by hitting them before they hit you. So those are going to be my 5 tips for how to get the most damage out of your Havoc Demon Hunter. Maybe you've forgotten some of these things. Maybe you learned some new things from this video. But either way, I hope you guys found at least something to help you out with this video. Now, next week I should have some pretty cool content coming your way, so if you're excited for that, make sure you hit the sub button. It's going to be a debut of a new series, going to be some more stuff going over 10.1.5, and of course, some more Havoc stuff. Also, if you want to support me, help me out, there's a few things you can do. One, hit the like button. It's the easiest thing to do. Helps spread the video in the algorithm, helps make YouTube happy. And if YouTube's happy, I'm happy the channel's doing well. So for those of you who already like videos, I appreciate it. You can also comment down below, help spread it. Maybe you have a question, maybe you want to comment on something. That's the place to do it. Also, hit the sub button, really help me out there. And finally, if you want to directly support me, you can become a channel member. There's a link in the description. You get a ton of cool perks, VOD reviews, exclusive access to places in my Discord, exclusive giveaways, the ability to shape my channel, exclusive emotes, stuff like that. So, for those of you who help support me already, thank you everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be back next week with more content. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Have a great Friday. See you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to all my channel members: Payne121, Evanjo Faraz, Zach Ward, It's Bulk, and Flapjack67. A big shout out to all you guys. You guys help me out so much and help keep the channel going, help me make new and exciting videos. If you guys want to become a channel member yourself, there's a link in the description. You get a ton of cool perks, exclusive videos, emotes, and everything fun. So again, thank you to all of you people. You guys are a big help. Big shout out to you guys. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.